Ladies and gentlemen, let's get real. Love isn't about playing games, following some outdated rules, or trying to be what you think a man wants. No, deep, lasting love happens when you show up as your strongest, most confident self. If you've ever wondered what really makes a man fall head over heels, buckle up, because I'm about to tell you exactly what it is. First things first, confidence is everything. When you know your worth, when you walk into a room and own who you are and feel that, it's not about looks, it's not about saying the perfect thing, it's about energy. Have you ever noticed how some people just have a presence? It's not because they're the most attractive person in the room, it's because they believe in themselves. And belief is contagious. If you're constantly doubting yourself, if you shrink yourself down to make others comfortable, if you're waiting for a man to validate your beauty or your worth, you're handing away your power. But when you step into your confidence, that's when the magic happens. Now, let's talk about something even deeper, emotional connection. Listen, physical attraction might get his attention, but emotional connection is what makes him stay. A man falls deeply when he feels safe with you, when he knows he can open up, when he feels understood, when he doesn't have to pretend to be someone he's not. And that doesn't mean fixing him. It doesn't mean sacrificing yourself to make him comfortable. It means being present, listening, and creating a space where he feels seen. Because when a man feels truly seen by you, that's when he starts to realize doesn't want to live without you. And let's get one thing straight, high-value women set boundaries. If you teach people that they can walk all over you, they will. It's not because they're bad people. It's because you haven't shown them where the line is. The moment you start accepting bare minimum effort, the moment you tolerate inconsistent behavior, you send a message that says, I don't deserve more. But when you hold your standards, when you say, this is what I need, and if you can't meet that, that's okay, but I won't settle, that's when men wake up. They respect a woman who respects herself. And the right man? He won't run from your boundaries, she'll step up to meet them. Now, this one is a game changer. Independence is magnetic. There is nothing more attractive than a woman who has her own life, her own passions, her own purpose. If you make a man the center of your world, he will feel attained, not in a good way. He wants to be part of your life, not your entire identity. The most captivating women are the ones who are excited about their own journey. They have goals, they have things that light them up, and their happiness isn't dependent on a relationship. And guess what? That makes a man want to chase you, because when he sees that you're not waiting for him to complete you, he realizes that being with you is a privilege and a requirement. And finally, the biggest one of all, authenticity wins every time. If you're trying to be what you think he wants, if you're filtering yourself, if you're afraid to show the real you because you're worried it might scare him away, you're already losing, because the man who is meant for you, he wants the real you, not some perfect version, not someone pretending to like what he likes, not someone who hides her true thoughts and feelings just to keep the peace. Real love happens when you show up as your true, unfiltered self. The quirks, the flaws, the messy parts. That's what creates true intimacy. So let me say this loud and clear. The secret to making a man fall deeply in love isn't about changing yourself. It's about being the strongest, most confident version of you. Because when you own your power, when you stop chasing and start choosing, when you show up fully and unapologetically as yourself, that's when the right man chooses you right back. And not just for a moment. Confidence is not just about how you look, how you walk, or the words you say. It's an energy, a presence, a mindset that radiates from within. It's the ability to walk into a room and own your space without needing approval from anyone else. Confidence is magnetic, and men are drawn to it in a way they can't even explain. It's not about arrogance. It's not about being loud. It's about being so comfortable in your own skin that you don't seek validation from anyone, especially not a man. Men are wired to be attracted to women who know their worth. When you carry yourself like someone who values herself, it sends a clear message. You are not desperate. You are not needy. And you are not looking for a relationship to complete you. This kind of energy is irresistible because it makes a man feel like he's stepping into something special, something rare. When a woman is confident, it tells a man that being with her is a privilege, not something he can take for granted. And here's the truth: when a man has to earn your attention rather than just receive it freely, he values it more. Lack of confidence, on the other hand, does the exact opposite. When you doubt yourself, when you overthink every word you say, when you constantly seek reassurance, you give off the energy that you don't fully believe in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else? Confidence is not about pretending to be something you're not. It's about trusting that who you are is already enough. Think about the most captivating women you've ever seen. They may not be the most traditionally beautiful, but they have something. Asterisk. They exude a presence that makes people take notice. That's confidence. And the best part, it's something you can build. Asterisk, it's not something you're born with, and it's not something you have to fake. You develop it by keeping promises to yourself, by doing the things that scare you, by stepping into your power and refusing to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Confidence shows up in the little things. It's in the way you hold eye contact instead of looking away. It's in how you speak your mind without second-guessing yourself. It's in how you carry yourself when you walk into a room, shoulders back, head held high, fully present in your own energy. Men pick up on these things. It's not what you say, it's how you show up, asterisk. And let's get something clear. Confidence doesn't mean being perfect. It doesn't mean you have no insecurities. Everyone has insecurities. Confidence means you don't let them control you. It means you own your flaws instead of apologizing for them. It means you understand that real beauty, real attraction isn't about being flawless. It's about being real. When you stop apologizing for who you are, when you stop trying to be what you think a man wants, that's when you become truly magnetic. Confidence is also about having standards. It's about knowing that your time and energy are valuable and refusing to waste them on people who don't appreciate them. It's about being okay with walking away when something isn't right, instead of clinging to something just because you don't want to be alone. When a woman operates from a place of confidence, she doesn't chase, she attracts. She doesn't beg for attention, she commands respect. Men are biologically wired to pursue, to hunt, to win something of value. When you hand yourself over too easily, when you try to prove your worth instead of already knowing it, you take away the challenge. But when you stand firm in your own self-worth, when you are comfortable with or without him, that is what makes him want to step up. A confident woman doesn't need a man, she chooses one. And that choice makes all the difference. And here's the beautiful thing. Confidence isn't just about attracting a man. It's about changing your entire life. When you start believing in yourself, you start making better choices. Men may be drawn to physical beauty, but it's emotional connection that makes them stay. Attraction might get their attention, but if there's no emotional depth, no real bond, the interest fades. What makes a man fall deeply in love is not just how you look, it's how you make him feel. It's whether he feels safe to open up, whether he feels understood, whether he experiences a kind of connection with you that he can't find anywhere else. Most men, whether they admit it or not, are craving emotional intimacy just as much as women. They want a space where they don't have to wear the mask of toughness, where they don't have to constantly prove themselves. The world already expects them to be strong, to have it together, to never show weakness, but behind that, they have fears, insecurities, and a deep need to feel accepted for who they truly are. And when they meet a woman who provides that safe space, it changes everything. Creating emotional connection isn't about fixing him, mothering him, or trying to solve all his problems. It's about listening, really listening. It's about paying attention to what he's not saying, not just what he is. It's about noticing when he's withdrawing, when he's struggling, when he's trying to carry something on his own, but doesn't know how to ask for help. It's about making him feel seen, not just as a provider, not just as someone to make you feel secure, but as a human being with layers, emotions, and vulnerabilities. The most powerful way to build emotional connection is through deep conversations. Not surface level small talk, not just talking about plans or the logistics of life, but real, honest, raw conversations. Ask him questions that make him think. Be genuinely curious about his experiences, his dreams, his fears, and when he shares, listen without judgment. Don't try to fix, don't try to analyze, just be present. A man falls in love with a woman he can be himself around. If he feels like he has to perform, like he has to meet expectations, like he can't let his guard down, the connection will always remain shallow. But when he realizes that with you, he doesn't have to pretend that he can bring his whole self to the table, his strengths and his weaknesses. That's when real love happens. This doesn't mean you accept poor behavior. Being emotionally available doesn't mean tolerating disrespect or making excuses for a man who isn't showing up for you. It means holding space for him while also holding your own standards. It means understanding him, but not losing yourself in the process. One of the biggest mistakes women make is thinking that physical intimacy will create emotional connection. While chemistry is important, it's not what builds deep love. A man can be physically attracted to many people, but he falls in love with the one who makes him feel something deeper, asterisk. The one who understands him in ways others don't. The one who makes him feel safe enough to let down the walls he's spent years building. Another key to emotional connection is appreciation. Men don't always say it, but they need to feel valued. They need to know that what they bring to the table is seen and appreciated. A simple acknowledgement of his efforts, a thank you for the little things he does, goes a long way. When a man feels like what he does matters to you, he naturally wants to do more. At the same time, emotional connection isn't just about understanding him. It's also about allowing yourself to be seen. Vulnerability goes both ways. If you want a man to open up, you have to be willing to do the same. You have to share your thoughts, your fears, your dreams, your struggles. When you let down your own walls, you invite him to do the same. It's also about being able to navigate conflict in a healthy way. Every relationship will have disagreements, but emotional connection is built when those disagreements bring you closer rather than push you apart. A high-value woman knows her worth and isn't afraid to set boundaries. She understands that love isn't about tolerating less than she deserves or making endless sacrifices to keep someone else happy. A woman with strong boundaries commands respect not because she demands it, but because she embodies it. And the truth is, men fall deeply in love with women who respect themselves enough to say, "This is what I need, and I won't settle for less." Boundaries are not about being controlling or difficult. They are about self-respect. They communicate what is acceptable and what is not. When you have clear boundaries, you're telling the world, "I value myself enough to protect my peace." And the right man, he will respect you for it. In fact, it will make him admire you even more because he sees that you're not just looking for any relationship, you're looking for the right one. One of the biggest mistakes women make is being too afraid to enforce their boundaries because they don't want to push a man away. They think that by being overly accommodating, endlessly understanding, and always saying yes, they'll keep him interested. But the opposite is true. When you constantly compromise your needs to make a relationship work, you send a message that your needs aren't important. And a man who doesn't have to step up to meet your standards will start to take you for granted. The way you teach a man how to treat you is by what you tolerate. If you allow inconsistent behavior, he learns that he doesn't have to be consistent. If you accept last-minute plans, he learns that he doesn't have to prioritize you. If you keep forgiving disrespect without consequences, he learns that he can continue disrespecting you. But when you stand firm in your boundaries, when you walk away from situations that don't serve you, that's when a man realizes your worth. The most powerful boundaries are set through action, not just words. You don't have to threaten, beg, or plead. You simply show what you will and won't accept. If a man is playing games, instead of arguing about it, you remove yourself. If he's not making an effort, instead of chasing, you create distance. If he's crossing a line, instead of just complaining, you enforce a consequence. A high-value woman doesn't explain her standards over and over. She just lives by them. And here's the thing, boundaries don't push the right man away. They push the wrong man away. A man who is not serious about you, a man who doesn't value you, a man who is just looking for convenience will leave when you set boundaries, and that's a good thing. Let him go. The man who truly wants to be with you, the man who genuinely values you, will step up. He will respect the fact that you have standards, because deep down, men know that anything truly valuable requires effort. A woman without boundaries may seem easygoing at first, but over time, she loses her sense of self. She becomes resentful because she keeps giving and giving without getting what she needs in return. And that resentment builds into frustration, arguments, and emotional exhaustion. But a woman with boundaries, she remains in control of her happiness. She doesn't rely on a relationship to feel whole because she already values herself. Having strong boundaries doesn't mean being rigid or unwilling to compromise. It means knowing the difference between healthy compromise and self-sacrifice. It means understanding that love should add to your life, not drain it. It means recognizing when something is no longer serving you and having the courage to walk away. The right man won't be scared of your boundaries. She'll respect them. He'll step up to meet them. He'll admire the fact that you respect yourself enough to set them in the first place. Because when a man truly loves a woman, he doesn't want her to shrink herself for him. He wants her to stand strong beside him. A man falls deeply in love when he feels like he can be himself around you. When he doesn't have to put on a show, when he doesn't have to constantly impress you, when he feels accepted not just for his strengths, but also for his flaws, that kind of connection is rare. The world expects men to be strong, to have it together, to always be in control. But deep down, every man has insecurities, fears, and moments of doubt. And when he meets a woman who allows him to exhale, to drop the mask and just be, it creates an unbreakable bond. This isn't about fixing him. It's not about being his therapist, his mother, or his savior. It's about creating a space where he feels emotionally safe, a place where he doesn't have to be perfect, a relationship where he's not constantly being judged or measured against impossible standards. The truth is, most men rarely get to experience that kind of emotional safety. They're told to be tough, to handle things on their own, to never show weakness. So when he finds a woman who makes him feel safe, safe to open up, safe to be vulnerable, safe to share his true thoughts without fear of being ridiculed, it changes everything. One of the most powerful things you can do is listen, really listen, not just to his words, but to his silence. Pay attention to what he's not saying. When a man trusts you enough to share his struggles, don't rush to give advice. Don't try to fix it, just be there. Sometimes he doesn't need a solution. He just needs to know he's not alone. He needs to feel that you understand him, that you're not judging him, that you respect him even in his weakest moments. Many women make the mistake of trying to push a man to open up before he's ready. They ask, why won't you talk to me? Why are you shutting me out? But here's the truth, men. Open up when they feel safe, not when they're pressured to. Emotional safety isn't forced. It's built over time. It happens when he sees that you don't use his vulnerabilities against him. It happens when he realizes that he can trust you with the parts of himself he doesn't show to the rest of the world. The way you react when he shares something vulnerable matters. If you dismiss it, mock it, or make it about you, he'll shut down. He'll retreat into himself, and that wall will go up again. But if you respond with understanding, with empathy, with genuine care, he'll open up even more. And every time he does, that emotional connection deepens. Emotional safety also means allowing him to have his own space. A man needs to know that he can be in a relationship without losing himself, that he can have bad days without feeling like he has to perform for you, that he can take time to recharge without you assuming something is wrong. When you give him that freedom, he doesn't pull away, he chooses to come closer. Another key to emotional safety is consistency. If you're unpredictable one day warm and supportive, the next day cold and distant, it creates instability. A man won't open up if he doesn't know which version of you he's going to get. He needs to trust that your care and understanding are constant, not conditional. That's what allows him to fully let down his guard. This kind of connection isn't built overnight. It takes patience. It takes emotional intelligence. It takes the ability to hold space for him, to let him process his emotions in his own way without trying to control or change him. And when you create that environment, something powerful happens. She chooses you, not just as a partner, but as his emotional home. The right man doesn't just want a woman who looks good next to him. He wants a woman who feels good to be around, a woman who makes him feel seen in a way no one else does. A woman who understands that true intimacy isn't just about physical attraction, but about emotional depth. Confidence is magnetic. It's the unshakable belief in yourself, the way you carry yourself, the way you own your presence without seeking validation. A man may be drawn to physical beauty, but it's confidence that makes him fall deeply in love. Because confidence isn't just about how you look, it's about how you feel about yourself. It's about the energy you bring into a room, the way you set the tone, the way you show up with certainty in who you are. A woman who is confident doesn't need a man she chooses one. And that distinction is powerful. When a man sees that you are whole on your own, that you are happy, fulfilled, and secure in your own worth, it makes him respect and admire you. Because you're not looking for someone to complete you, you're looking for someone to add to your already amazing life. That's the kind of energy that draws a man in and makes him want to be a part of your world. Confidence is about knowing what you bring to the table. It's about walking into a room and not wondering if people like you, but instead deciding whether you like them. It's about carrying yourself with a quiet assurance that says, I know my value. And the moment you stop seeking approval from others, the moment you start living for yourself, that's when people, including men, are naturally drawn to you. But here's the mistake many women make. They confuse confidence with arrogance or perfection. Confidence isn't about being flawless. It's not about pretending to have it all together. In fact, true confidence comes from embracing your imperfections. It's about owning your strengths and your weaknesses. A confident woman doesn't try to be someone she's not. She fully embraces who she is. Confidence also means setting standards and not settling for less than you deserve. A woman who knows her worth isn't afraid to walk away from a situation that doesn't align with her values. She doesn't chase, she doesn't beg, she doesn't try to prove her worth to someone who can't see it. She knows that the right man will recognize her value without her having to convince him. Men are wired to pursue, to earn, to rise to the challenge. When a woman carries herself with confidence, she naturally inspires a man to step up. But when a woman lacks confidence, when she constantly seeks reassurance, when she needs external validation to feel good about herself, it can create an imbalance in the relationship. Because the truth is, no one can give you confidence. It has to come from within. One of the most attractive things a woman can do is have a life outside of her relationship. When you have passions, goals, and interests that light you up, it makes you even more desirable. Why? Because it shows that your happiness isn't dependent on a man. It's something you create for yourself. And that kind of independence is incredibly attractive. Confidence also shows up in how you handle challenges. Life isn't always perfect, relationships aren't always smooth, but a confident woman doesn't fall apart at the first sign of difficulty. She doesn't let fear control her. She faces obstacles with resilience, knowing that she has the strength to overcome them. And when a man sees that you can handle life's ups and downs with grace and strength, it deepens his respect for you. Another powerful element of confidence is the way you communicate. A confident woman speaks with clarity. She says what she means. She doesn't play games, she doesn't manipulate, and she doesn't shy away from expressing her needs. When she says no, she means it. When she sets a boundary, she enforces it. And that kind of direct, self-assured communication builds trust and admiration in a relationship. But confidence isn't just about how you interact with others, it's about how you treat yourself. A confident woman takes care of herself, not to impress anyone else, but because she values her well-being. She prioritizes her mental, emotional, and physical health.